Hey, hello, this is Sean with the podcast Thrive, Not Survive After Child Abuse. Third episode already in the new year. If you follow it actually every day. If not, then maybe, you listen to another episode. We continue to talk a little bit about habits that we do. And one of the habits that I have is my Sunday routine. Yeah, everything. Actually, if you think about it, we are like the sum of our habits. If you think about it, so Sunday is typically a day that I would like to take it a little bit calmer, right? And I start the day on Sunday always with a little bit more bigger breakfast than normal. Breakfast is the most important meal they say on a day, but well, that's definitely true for Sunday. One of the things that I like to do is making some good eggs. It's not a cooking program today, but just tell you a little bit more about the habits that we have. And so every Sunday I cook some different eggs, and I love eggs, to be honest. And today it was a frittata. If you don't know what it is, it's actually basically a very simple recipe, and you just throw a lot of stuff in a skillet, cook it, put some mixture of eggs on top of it, and then slam it in the oven for about 12-15 minutes, and there you have it. You have an awesome dish, right? So if that has more interest for you than this the normal topic of this podcast, just PM me and I can send you a couple of awesome recipes. And the other thing I like to do actually on a Sunday morning is to go to church. And I truly say I like to do, because when I grew up as a Catholic boy. We had to go to church every Sunday, and I dragged my feet because I didn't like it at all. Half of the time I didn't understand actually what the pastor was talking about, and I'm in an age that some of these services were half in Latin as well, so I definitely did not understand that. So most of the time, if you know anything about, with all respect, if you Catholic is still like new to do, then that is something that you need to do. But most of the time I didn't get much out of it. It's probably all on me. So I go to different type of churches today, and one of the churches I go to every Sunday is Chase Oaks here in Allen, Texas, and sometimes it feels more like a motivational and a coaching speech, to be honest, and maybe that's why it's so attractive. But anyhow, that's my Sunday morning. And one of my favorite teaching pastors there is Mr. Ryan Leakes, and he is awesome. He has fun, he has a good message, it's concise and stuff like that. And today he talked about a topic that is, I think, very close to my heart and very related to the teaching that I do. And he says, you could make an awesome 2021 if you add these 3 habits, just to add these 3 habits to your routine every day, and you will have an awesome 2021. I thought, wow, that's an interesting statement. But I agree there. If you think about the things that you do on a daily basis, since that is basically what defines what the outcome is of what you do in general. And the outcome is not more than the result of the things that you are after, or if you're not after anything, you will have an outcome in life as well. But we are often, and I think I talked about it, even walking on the same path that I do today, is we often are so much concerned about the outcome that we are after, and but we forget that the outcome is only dependent on and solely dependent of the input that we give into life and into anything, right? I talked to you about my frittata today, and the quality and the taste and the flavor of my frittata is solely dependent, or mostly, of the input that I do, the ingredients that I put in there. And it's no different with life in general is the output of life is only dependent of the input that we give. So habits are the main ingredients, so to speak. Yeah, habits are the main ingredients that we have. So hence, I was attracted by Pastor Ryan Leake today when he said, "Hey, here are your 3 habits, and if you do those this year, then you will have an awesome 2021." Now, I think we all want to have an awesome 2021. I want to have an awesome 2022 too, but an awesome 21. So, without further ado, these are the three habits that he talked about. The first habit is, if you need to be grateful every day, and I've been definitely talking about that thing for years already, how important it is to have some attitude of gratitude and make that into a habit, put it in a journal, think about the things that are going well in your life, right? And if you make that a habit, you will see some changes very rapidly actually appearing in your life. So that's one thing he talked about. He talked about it from a Christian perspective. So he also talked about how to pray different, stuff like that. I'm not going into that in this podcast, but if you like that topic, I would definitely recommend you to listen to his service. It's free on Chase Oaks here in Allen, right? Find him online, Chase Oaks, and then you can follow that too. The second thing he talked about is make a conscious effort every day to what you say no to. I like that too, right? Because we tend to load our life with all kind of things that we actually don't really need. And I'm not talking about the food that we eat, but you could apply that too, but it's maybe what shows are we watching. I've talked about in the past about, do we need to see the news every day? So much negativity in it. Maybe we should say more no to the things that we watch. Or another thing is, can you say no to people who are gossiping around you, right? Can we say no to other things in life, right? Maybe impatience when we go into a store or anything else, right? So what are you going to say no to on a daily basis in 2021? Another good thing to talk about, and once you make that just a habit, then that would be a good thing too. But the last thing that he spoke about actually attracted me the most, and that is, can you give everyday encouragement? Can you give every day besides yourself, but can you give every day someone encouragement, right? Now, he was talking about, let's do 3 people every day. Every day you just call or send a message, or send an email, or, talk to someone. If you're at work, that could be nowadays online, or maybe if you're still, face-to-face to work, can you encourage someone every day? Now, I made a habit, and I called it to inspire people every day. Normally I do that with a quote, or I do that with this podcast, but I think I can improve that better. I can do it a little bit more from a personal point of view and encourage at least one person a day. Now you might think, Jean, does that have a really effect? Well, it has a real effect on yourself, first of all, right? If that's important, right? And so you can be in as much misery as you want, but if you go alongside someone and you encourage that person, you would see that things in yourself at least feels a lot better, right? It doesn't immediately make you richer, it doesn't make you immediately feel healthier. Well, maybe feel healthier, but if you have something, but it definitely makes you stronger, and you will get definitely more energized about it. But here's the thing, right? 365 days in a year, and if I do one encouragement per day, that will be 36,500 encouragements in a year. That's a big number, right? And let's say that 365,000, if we would, sorry, I was just a little bit off in my math. So that would be 365 encouragements for me in this year. But On average, I think I reach easily 100 people a day, through this podcast, through the other things that I do on social media. So if I can convince 100 people to do the same as I do, right? And it should be easy, right? Just encourage one person a day. We do 365,000 encouragements in a year. Now, if you think that doesn't have an effect in the world, then I would challenge you to rethink that a little bit, right? So yeah, numbers. There's power in numbers. So I think that would be an awesome little habit to take on in 2021, right? Can you encourage someone, every day? Ryan in his speech said, I make it very practical. I just put it on my calendar and I just try to think ahead of what person I need to send some encouragement. And it can be the same person, maybe a few days in a row. So it doesn't have to be a different person every day. But if you just look at your Facebook friends and stuff like that, they easily go over 100 people most of the time, right? So it's not too hard if you think about it, and it's kind of a fun thing to do. And sometimes it's a long message, sometimes it's a short message, but just think about it, right? 365 people that you can reach in a year, and if I encourage 100 people, there will be 36,500 people in a year. Now that's not a small number, I would say, at least, right? So let's do that. Let's do that. Do that 100. Well, and if you might multiply it by yourself also by 100, it would be even bigger. But in my little circle, if I could do 100 people and stimulate them through this podcast, then that will be a good thing, right? So that was my message for today. This was Sean with the podcast Thrive, Not Survive After Child Abuse. It's still the beginning of the year, so I feel that we still have to say Happy New Year every day that I go on the podcast live. Listen to me tomorrow again with another message. All right, this was Sean. Bye-bye.